as Pi Network. Okay, so you talk of disruptive technologies, you also have disruptive business models. So, by definition, it's basically something that is an innovation that creates a new market, you can say, or a new value network, you know, which with time gets to displace those already existing and established traditional business models. Maybe the best way to put it is through an example. One of the most referenced examples of disruptive technology is the internet itself. We've seen how we are able to send emails within a short time, as opposed to when we used to send physical mail through the post. So when you combine email, internet, the web, with the use of gadgets and devices like tablets, iPads, smartphones, you get very, very powerful technologies which displace the way we've been doing certain things in the past. Let's look at an example of an internet cafe. We used to go to an internet cafe to send an email, maybe to read the news. But nowadays, you find that a lot of this information is already on your phone. You can send an email from your phone. You don't need to walk into an internet cafe. So, what do internet cafes have to do? They now have to adapt to this change, which has been caused by them being displaced by mobile phone technology and by internet. So they now go into other areas, like you find them doing mainly printing and photocopying services and things like that. Let's talk of newspaper tabloids. These have been replaced by news on the go. You have news every time there are updates on your phone. You have active big companies like CNN or BBC. They're able to deliver news almost in real time. So you don't have to wait for the following morning to hear about something that has happened in the evening. You get it right then, the instant. So I'm just giving some examples of how technology has displaced some traditional business types. Look at things like photography. There's this famous company Kodak. I'm sure many people know Kodak. They were very famous for having accessories for cameras, things like camera films and all that. And Kodak at one point actually failed to take advantage of digital photography. So when digital photography came in, you can take selfies, snapshots on your camera, on your phone. You don't have to go and develop your film in a studio. You have your instant photo there, and it's very rarely that we even go to studios to go and print out those photos. So these are examples of companies being displaced by new technologies. Talk of Casio, the calculators they made. Why would you go to buy a calculator from Casio when you can have the calculators already on your mobile phone? Okay. The courier companies, the postal service companies, these have all been disrupted in the recent years and decades simply because their business models are being displaced. So, when you look at technologies like apps, apps on Play Store, apps in the App Store, you have things like Airbnb, a very simple concept whereby if you, Fikunayo, you have some spare accommodation in your house, someone can rent that accommodation for a night, 2 nights, or 1 week, and they'll pay you directly. They won't be paying to a hotel. Then you find that now hotels are competing with an ordinary person who has a spare room in their house, and they're offering accommodation with apps like Airbnb, apps like Uber for transportation, and so on. You find that they're actually having a very big impact on the way we do things, or the traditional way we've been doing things. Okay. So now when we come to what we are in as Pi Network, we're basically in the financial sector. It's in the sector of economics. Even as we speak, the world of finance and economics is being disrupted by innovative money transfer services like online transactions, mobile money service providers, even our mobile providers, I think like Airtel, MTN, and so on. They're offering so many services which traditionally we used to get from the bank. For example, paying for bills, paying for entertainment. You can do all sorts of things using these services from the comfort of your home, from a phone. Besides being disrupted by just the internet. You can imagine them now being disrupted further by blockchain and technology and cryptocurrency. So the old models are about to be disrupted, and this is something that is happening right in front of our eyes, and it's a very exciting time to be alive and to see how these institutions react and respond to that. Look at Western Union, MoneyGram, these money transfer companies, these money sending or remittance organizations where you're abroad, you send money through Western Union to recipients outside and back to your country and so on. These have been disrupted over time by systems which are more efficient. Okay, and then when we come to the issue of central banks, we see a situation where they're actually about to be disrupted, because we are seeing that more and more their services are being decentralized to us as individuals. Firstly, is through good mobile banking apps, and besides that, now you have the layer of blockchain and cryptocurrency coming into reality, where you're basically your own bank. You have your bank in your wallet. You can decide where to send your money, how to transact, and all sorts of things which you would normally get from banks. So I hope that bit of the background to disruptive technology is helpful, Fikunai.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Kennedy. That's actually a very succinct and detailed introduction. So the whole idea behind disruptive technology. And sincerely, I think you actually have given a very nice overview of this, because you really brought it home more by all of the examples that you actually gave. So I must say it's actually a very nice one. Thank you very much, Kennedy. And then I think gradually, for us listening, we should basically begin to see how the blockchain technology is displacing quite a number of other technologies. And then one key thing from that Kennedy just made mention of is that for technologies that are not ready to adapt to these technologies would basically have to fade away. Okay, now for example, part of the examples, one of the examples that Kennedy gave, while talking about cyber cafes. Okay, so basically, we know that today we don't have cyber cafes any longer. If you probably want to get access to anything that you want to do online with your mobile phone, basically you can just get it done. So there was no way, basically, for even these cyber cafes to be able to adapt or probably make use of it, and then they have to go. And then I think I've been seeing quite a number of news around this, even online, where people get to talk about banks that try to fight blockchain and crypto. Well, from what we just heard from Kennedy, if they don't find a way of adapting or bringing in blockchain and crypto into their system, and then flowing with the change that is happening gradually, they basically will just have to fade away. Okay, so that's a very great one, Kennedy. Thank you for a very
Yeah,
succinct
great. Yes, thanks. Yeah.
So any of us that
Uh,
probably have questions,
yeah.
let's
Yeah,
just
just for the
okay. Go
coming. I like
ahead,
the part.
Kennedy.
Yeah, I like the part where you talk about institutions like that having to adapt. It is very critical that as business leaders or entrepreneurs, as even political leaders, we take time to adapt to change, not always to be resistant to change. Because, like we say, many people think that disruptive technology is destructive technology, when it's not. They think that a disruptive technology is displacing and destroying traditional jobs and traditional business models. But the key learning from this is that all we have to do is see how we can leverage them to our own use, to our own advantage, adapt to them so that we become part of the disruption and we don't get disrupted. So instead of governments and banks, regulators and so on, instead of them being resistant to change, basically they should embrace disruptive technologies such as crypto and blockchain, because they are here to stay. I don't think crypto and blockchain will be going anytime soon. Yeah, thanks, Fikunai.
Yeah, that's a great one. I like the way you handled it. So you don't think crypto and blockchain will go anywhere anytime soon. And really, that's the truth. It's a new norm. I used to tell people that there was a time before now where we don't make use of paper money, probably use other means to exchange value and all. But today those things faded away. And then we have paper money. And then gradually again we are already seeing a new way to which exchange of value between people, between, in fact, this time around more good with better characteristics coming up already. So there's no way the fiat gradually will not get disrupted, because we have a better way of doing it and with better features, better characteristics. From the part of Africa that I am from, I'm from Nigeria, our government is seriously fighting blockchain and crypto. I must tell you, like, they are fighting it big time. And then it's so painful why we, those that understand at least to a good extent what these technologies can do to the economy of the country and do to people and all of that. And the government that they are supposed to be in this particular position to see into it and help the economy grow with all these new technologies coming in, they are now the ones that are basically fighting. And like you have said, they fought blockchain and crypto over a few years now, and still in Nigeria, still very much thriving. And that's because we all understand, okay, probably this would even help us or lead us to understanding better details, the whole idea behind blockchain and crypto, and how well it's not going to fade away anytime soon. It's a new technology that is going to disrupt old ones, and then it's not going to fade. So I think we should just take the discussion a bit further, and then let's just move. Basically, so if I may ask you, what is a blockchain? Because we know that we know that blockchain and cryptocurrency is the whole idea behind Pi, behind cryptocurrencies and all of what we have been saying. So, in a way, you feel you can explain to us what is a blockchain?
Okay, great. So it's good that we're having reviews of some of these popular terms that we've had, maybe even in some earlier sessions of LearnPi. So when we look at a blockchain, what is it? Yeah. Hello, you can get me? Okay. All right. So basically, disruptive blockchain is also a type of disruptive technology, an invention, really. It's a blockchain is a public, decentralized, and distributed electronic ledger, just a set of records that's openly shared among different participants. That's what a blockchain is. So it makes use of this unchangeable record of transactions, and each of these records is timestamped and linked to the previous transaction blocks. So it is immutable. Immutable is the word meaning once it's recorded, it's permanent, it's there, it exists forever. So really, when you look at each block of transactions, there's information in each of those blocks which is useful for the validators on any network in that blockchain. So in the sense of blockchain, a transaction is more or less just an exchange of information. If the blockchain is a cryptocurrency blockchain, Franklin, oh yeah, okay, thanks. So basically a transaction in the sense of blockchain is an exchange of information, and it's more an exchange of financial information. So the important thing about blockchains is that they're so transparent, they're open, they're visible to the public eye anywhere in the world. So we can tap in and see information about how the blockchain is operating, a particular blockchain. The most common one that's always talked about is, of course, Bitcoin, which almost everyone knows. I think everyone knows what Bitcoin is. So it is basically a disruptive technology and an invention. That's what blockchain is. Okay, so in talking about blockchain, we can probably tap into cryptocurrencies in general, the general picture, because a crypto is built on a blockchain. So what shall we say what a cryptocurrency is? What is a cryptocurrency? It's just a type of digital currency where we are seeing transactions being verified and recorded by a decentralized system. So the Pi network is an example of what a cryptocurrency will be once the Pi coin itself is on the public blockchain. So the important thing about these cryptos is that they are decentralized because these verifications and validations of data are happening in small clusters of independent, decentralized nodes, as opposed to a central authority where you have a central bank or maybe one of your main banks in your country. You go there, everything happens at the bank, everything happens in their office. So they are a central authority, and that's why that system of finance is called centralized, because we're always going to this central body. So just examples of crypto, everyone knows Bitcoin, probably Ethereum, Ripple, Stellar, coins like Monero, and the Pi network, of course. So what you find about these cryptocurrencies is that each and every one of them has some interesting use cases, which makes them valuable in their particular circle of enthusiasts and the actual people using these coins. Talk of Bitcoin, everybody now looks at Bitcoin as a store of value. You buy some Bitcoin today and you hope to sell it sometime next year or 2 years later at a higher price and things like that. Look at how Ripple, for example, can be used by institutions for cross-border payments in a more efficient way than the usual financial systems that we know. And then when you look at buying of goods and services in an anonymous manner on the internet using crypto like Monero, so these are the different types of applications. So each coin basically has some sort of usefulness, and which makes Pi a very interesting crypto because we have been learning along the way that Pi will be useful and it will be based on the utilities that are going to be built for it. So we see how Pi develops as we go along. It's an interesting journey. So the key thing about cryptocurrencies, basically, they're very different from fiat currency. And what is fiat, someone might ask? Because fiat is what we know nowadays as paper money, or the type of money which is just made legal tender by the government, or just by a decree or a proclamation. So this note is valid, it's legal tender. In my country, we use kwacha. So in the kwacha, all there is that the governor for my country of the central bank has promised to pay someone who would tender that 100 kwacha, 50 kwacha into the bank and say there's an equal amount of reserves of a precious metal such as gold, which one can redeem. That's how that promise on those notes come into effect. So when you look at cryptocurrencies, they are totally opposite of that. They're digital, they're versatile, and they are not just a mere promise made by a decree or a proclamation. So that's one thing about crypto in general. And I can probably tap into why crypto is important. Why is Bitcoin important? Because firstly, Bitcoin is the first decentralized currency on a blockchain that we know. And it was really an interesting innovation. And the more we read and research about just how powerful its appearance on the world scene was, the more we appreciate where it could take us. So Bitcoin actually opened up the world to decentralized finance. You know, people have come to know crypto projects, other exciting crypto projects, due to the developments that started with Bitcoin. You know, it has led the way for other cryptos to be created, even using better technology. So if Bitcoin had a few shortcomings or shortfalls, as we might describe them, there are now some cryptos which are better and maybe faster. People complain, oh, Bitcoin confirmation of transactions take a long time. I say 10 minutes for a block to be closed off, but you still have to wait maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour just to be sure. So basically, Bitcoin's emergence on the world scene in finance is a very, very important step towards at least putting a certain level of economic power and control in the hands of ordinary people like you and me. So we've done away with middlemen and even big payment processors such as PayPal and these centralized banking institutions. It's thanks to Bitcoin and blockchain in general. So Bitcoin is also one very important disruptive technology to the financial sector. Yeah. So I don't know if at this stage we have any questions from the team listening. Or everything is good so far.
Thank you, sir. I guess everything is okay with me. I don't know further question. I understood what you said.
Okay, great. We'll take it that everything is okay. So when you look at cryptos in general, you can compare them to fiat. Let's look at some of the advantages that cryptos have. You know, the very first thing is that they're decentralized. So you are dealing with your own coins in your wallet or wherever. You don't need to go to a bank to line up with your own money. You know, many of the banks where you go and stand outside in a long line waiting to be attended to. With the emergence of COVID, it's now even more draining and more stressful just trying to do a transaction at the counter if you're not doing a transaction at the ATM. So that's one thing. And also the power of crypto is completely in your hands. Only you have the private keys to your wallet. No one can freeze your assets. No one can apply sanctions on your wallet the way anyone can apply sanctions to your fiat money. If it's in a bank account, you just say this person, we are closing their bank account and stuff because of other things. So we have frozen their assets, and so with crypto that is not possible. Another big advantage is that crypto is borderless. It has no geographical boundaries. It's on the internet. Everything is electronic, digital, virtual. So you can even make international payments within a matter of minutes. Okay. Another major advantage, cryptos really are deflationary in nature. Many cryptos are deflationary, simply meaning there's no inflation, which is the opposite of fiat. Because with fiat, an order can be given anytime to print more of the currency. You know, there are countries where inflation was running into the hundreds and thousands of percentages. So because there was no, the currency was failing to survive. It was dying as its fiat. It was really dying. So many cryptos are deflationary, and with time, when you look at something like Bitcoin, it has a fixed number of Bitcoin units that can be made, the 21 million we've heard of. And so there's a fixed supply of what can be minted from that blockchain. Even from Pi, people keep asking, does Pi have a fixed supply? How come it's just mining daily millions and millions of coins? They're now in the billions. But what we do know, and the developers have said this before, is that there will be a time when the mining will stop. Once the mining ends, even as the blockchain is being launched, you will see that there's a figure there which says maximum supply, the maximum number of coins that can ever be extracted from the network. Okay. Other advantages, look at the lower transaction fees when it comes to crypto. You can send a very big payment in Bitcoin and pay a small fraction. With fiat, the bigger the transaction, the more you're paying every time you're sending money and settling payments. Okay. So also with crypto, you have faster transmission and settlement. Give an example of maybe trying to buy a car from Japan. We like doing that in Zambia. We can buy a car from Japan. You order it online, but you have to make a payment through your bank. And for you to make that bank, they will usually give you it's called a TT, a telegraphic transfer, which is basically an instruction from your banker to that bank in Japan or the intermediary. and the whole process is quite lengthy. It can take anywhere from 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days in some cases, just transmitting that instruction and getting confirmation that yes, the people you have paid to in Japan have accepted that your transaction is fine, and then they can start preparing to send you your vehicle. But with crypto, it's much faster. It can be in a matter of minutes or in a matter of seconds, as we've seen on the testnet for Pi. Major advantage also, cryptocurrencies are cleaner. I'm not talking about the environment yet, they're just clean in terms of we don't physically touch them. We are transmitting electronic data information, so there's no risk of spreading COVID through transmission of crypto or spreading other diseases and things like that. Cryptos, another advantage is that they're not bulky. You can have $1 million worth of crypto on a piece of paper in your wallet. Now look at fiat and how bulky it is. You have big business lines of actual companies with armored vehicles, maybe security, escorting a vehicle simply because it's transferring or transporting $1 million worth of your currency to another branch from one branch to the other. So cryptos are not bulky compared to fiat. Then limitations with fiat. Many other times you go to your ATM and you're told this ATM can only dispense 40 notes or 50 notes. So there's that type of limitation. Apart from that, imagine trying to withdraw $1 million from your bank. Sometimes they won't even have that balance be available as cash. It's a process. Probably in my country, you have to get a special approval just to process such big transactions, because some of them are even deemed suspicious. How does a person just walk into a bank and withdraw $2 million in one day? Okay, so another advantage is banks have working hours. Sometimes the weekend is off, out of bounds. So, but with crypto, it's online, it's every day, every minute. Cryptocurrency is active. People are transacting any time of day. On public holidays, they're transacting. Okay. Your fiat, another advantage is that your fiat can be stolen from your wallet. It can be picked from your pocket, from your purse or handbag for the ladies. But with crypto, if you have your private key and it's safe, that money cannot be stolen. Okay. So talk about restrictions by the government. You know, fiat can easily be restricted by your government. They can tell you today we're not allowing people to withdraw from the banks anything more than $10. There was this article or stories about Greece when there was a debt crisis in 2015 somewhere there. Capital controls were put in place by the government. People were restricted from accessing their own money. They had limits. Per day you could withdraw maybe 60 euros or 50 euros. Because the whole country was in debt, now ordinary citizens were also affected. So these are some of the issues that we tend to see as advantages for crypto when you compare it to fiat. Now, there could be a few disadvantages. We'll run through this. In the current state, here's the first disadvantage. I think one of the issues many people have with crypto, things like Bitcoin, are very volatile. They're really not predictable. They gain and lose value by wide margins. In a matter of hours, you hear the whole cryptocurrency market cap has lost, $40 billion. Investors just lost confidence and so on. But in recent years, we've seen the emergence of stable coins, like USDT, the Tether coin, which is linked to the dollar in a ratio of 1-to-1. So if you say you have 1 unit of USDT, you go to that exchange and it's basically backed by an exact amount of a dollar. So the stability of such coins is gaining a lot of importance and relevance, and maybe to do something good for the crypto space. Another disadvantage is that a cryptocurrency wallet, yes, it can be stolen from you if your private key is exposed to a bad actor or a person who is out to get your money. The only way to prevent that is right? Keeping your information safe, your private key, your passphrase, and so on. So another thing, okay, this one is real. Once you forget or lose the private key, you cannot access your crypto. This is a very real disadvantage. So you always have to know where you keep your private key, or how you keep it, how you keep your wallets, and so on, because there's no way anybody can access. It is encrypted. It is completely hidden from he who does not know the private key cannot access the money in that wallet. So you always have to be careful not to forget or lose your private keys. And then cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, this is the environmental issue where really it's a concern that Bitcoin uses a lot of energy just to validate a block of transactions, a lot of maybe kilowatt hours every day just to generate transactions. So in that aspect, a disadvantage. Then when you talk of money laundering and crime, this has been it. You find it all over the internet. People say cryptocurrency is used for crime. Cryptocurrency is used to launder money. So I find, for me, this is not really a valid disadvantage. They say, back in the day, people used to buy drugs and illegal guns using Bitcoin. But the truth of the matter is that even with fiat currency, these cases of illegal dealing and all that stuff, they're just as rampant. People still do the same things with fiat currency. So the money laundering and crime part is not really a disadvantage for cryptocurrencies for me. Yeah. So I'll just go into the terminologies that we should familiarize with as we handle Pi network and everything crypto. In this one, I think we can have an open discussion, all of us, so that if there are any terms that we need clarity on, or maybe other terms that you can bring out to the forum, we can discuss them together. If that's okay, Fikunayo, moderator.
Veda, sit. Please, before you hand over to Fikunayo, please, I want to ask. I want you to explain more on when you say that crypto is a deflationary. Please explain that aspect very well for me.
Okay. All right. Thanks a lot. So on the part of crypto being deflationary, when you look at Bitcoin as an example, it started out with rewards for a block of 50 Bitcoin units for each valid block, 50 Bitcoins. Then 4 years later, about 4 years later, in 2012, this rate of reward was halved. It was halved. So instead of people, validators and miners receiving 50 Bitcoins for every valid transactions, they started receiving 25. So Bitcoin has actually been through about 3 halvings, those 2012, 2016, and most recently in 2020. So what started out as 50 Bitcoins as a reward went down to 25, then it went down to 12.5 Bitcoins, and right now the reward for a valid transaction is just about 6 Bitcoins, or somewhere there about 6.25, 6 and a quarter Bitcoins. So it has been deflating, meaning with time, instead of Bitcoin growing in terms of supply on the market, you're actually getting less and less Bitcoins with time, until such and such a time that we'll reach the 21 million coins that's defined in the protocol. And beyond that, no one will be able to extract any more Bitcoins. So with time, we are deflating, we're reducing the volume of coins on the market until we reach the limit, as compared to fiat, where today you have 1 trillion naira, or 1 trillion kwacha, 1 trillion pesos, 1 trillion pounds or dollars circulating in your economy. And then depending on what the government or the central bank decides, they just print more coins. I mean, more fiat, more notes to serve certain needs. So that's the major difference between deflation and inflation, right there. Even with Pi Network, as you've seen, the rewards when it just started, I think for the base rate must have been 6.8 or somewhere thereabout, and it's been reducing with time. Right now, the base rate is a very, very small figure, just 0.2. Yes. So even with the Pi network, you can see that with time, as the network has been growing, the amount of coins that are redeemable for mining and securing the network for each pioneer has actually reduced with time, until such and such a time that when the fixed supply is broadcasted on the blockchain, when it goes live, that fixed supply will be the limit of all the coins that will ever exist. So I hope that was clear.
Yeah, thank you very much. I now understood.
Thanks,
Okay.
Jonathan.
To say for that brilliant explanation. As regarding the terminologies that are important to familiarize ourselves with, I would like that you start off on a broader scale and then break down to terminologies that are peculiar to the Pi network itself. So we could start with crypto general terminology.
Woody, your voice is breaking a bit. I don't know if you can just repeat that. It's breaking a bit.
Is it better now? Is it stable?
I hear you very well. You are not clear.
Okay. I think
Is it
it's better
stable now?
Yeah. Oh yeah, much better, Woody. Yes. Thanks.
Okay. I was going to say that you give us some insight on terminologies that are applicable to the general crypto space, and you could then take us into the terminologies that are now peculiar to Pi Network itself.
Oh, okay.
And see how we'll engage on that.
Okay. That's fine. Thanks a lot. So yeah, we can look at some terminologies that we hear maybe on the pie charts. We come across them and we, get mixed up with what people are talking about. But it's always good to have an idea so that we're all on the same page with the rest of the pioneers. I think one of the things we come across are terms like mining, terms like minting. When you see the graphic that's published every time, the developers tell us mine now while you still can, then there's a note saying minting for new members might end, and everyone is saying, but how come here it says mining and here it says minting? Is that an error? So sometimes it's important to have at least an understanding of what it is. I think the way mining has been described over the months and years in the Pi network, mining is being looked at as a process of helping to secure the Pi blockchain. So securing the Pi blockchain is very key. Okay, but mining generally for any blockchain there is just depends on the type of consensus mechanism that is being used or being employed. So you have these terms we hear like proof of work, proof of stake for Bitcoin, Ethereum shifting to proof of stake. Then you have the FBA, Federated Byzantine Agreement for the Pi network and networks like Stellar. So mining is just helping to secure the blockchain. Now the interesting thing is that minting is the production of new currency units. They're minted, they're generated, or they're produced. Why? As a reward for you helping secure the blockchain. So you're mining, you're helping to secure the blockchain, and you're being rewarded with results, which is minting. Okay. Talk of terms like the mainnet, the main network, which is the buzzword at the moment on the Pi network. A mainnet is just the independent blockchain which will be running with its own network and the protocol that will be in the live state. You compare this to the test network, which is the phase that is about to end. It's basically where you're able to make iterations, make improvements, and make further developments before it goes live. So a test net, as compared to a mainnet, is like a draft copy of the blockchain. Then the mainnet is the final copy of the blockchain, which is once published will be running and active. Okay. Then you come to things like halving. A halving is just a mechanism used by cryptocurrency blockchains to control inflation. It's the topic we came from. Apart from controlling inflation, you introduce scarcity because why? Because let's say in the previous year you were able to earn 6 units of your currency or 5 units of your currency. Then in the next year, you're told the network has grown, and now that we have more people, those 5 units you were having will now be 2.5. And so basically, the halving is just a mechanism for controlling inflation. Then talk of the security of the network. This is one of the core features of cryptocurrencies. The strength of the network greatly depends on how secure it is. For example, how easy is it for a node on the Bitcoin network to gain unfair advantage? It's not easy, because on the Bitcoin network, someone would have to have a very powerful machine which can command more than 50% of the hashing power, so that it can, generate its own blocks and receive Bitcoin rewards. So for Bitcoin is very secure because it is so difficult to achieve this feat. Look at the Pi network in comparison. How easy is it for someone to mine a lot of fake Pi using many phones with fake identities? It may seem easy, you can try to do it, but it's actually not easy, because we all know that all participants that have been enrolled into the Pi network have to be KYC verified before entering the mainnet. So all those fake accounts cannot affect the security of Pi network negatively. Public and private keys. This is another definition that we have to look at. People mix them up. So a public key is related to a wallet. Okay. Public keys and private keys are like two pairs. Like they're a pair of information critical for accessing a wallet. The public key is just an address, which is like a wallet ID, and the private key is more like a password to access that wallet. And the wallet itself is just a piece of software which interfaces with the blockchain in order to access the record of assets that are held at a particular address. So there are many types of examples of wallets out there, and it's interesting that in the Pi network, there's the Pi browser wallet, and the day it was launched, we were actually told that it can also store other crypto, not just Pi, but other crypto as well, which would be similar to the way software like Exodus works. I'm sure some of you have experimented with Exodus. You can store Bitcoin, Ethereum, Stellar, and many other assets. People keep on asking, what is KYC? This is very critical. KYC, purely everything to do with your identity, so that the network knows who you are. It's coming from traditional banking and finance, where a bank has to know its customers. They have your profile, maybe your ID, a picture of you, and your official registered names. So KYC is knowing your customer. They have terms like AML, anti-money laundering requirements. These are important for exchanges, cryptocurrency exchanges. Governments don't want an issue whereby you commit a crime, maybe you steal some money, you rob someone of thousands of dollars, then you just go and convert them to cryptocurrency and you go dark, no one sees you. So anti-money laundering requirements are required for exchanges to prevent such things. Okay, then let's talk of blockchain consensus types. There's proof of work for the very first blockchain that existed, that was Bitcoin, where nodes are basically compiling a block of transactions. They attempt to close it off with the correct magic number or secret number, the correct nonce, and then they hash the result and they broadcast it to the network. So that is the proof of work. The validator, the node, is proving that they have done the difficult work of finding the correct nonce to close off a transaction. Then you have terms like um, proof of stake, where basically you are in your blockchain and you're saying this network shall trust me as a node because I have invested or staked a very big portion of my holdings, a reasonable amount of my holdings, and I'm broadcasting to the network to say you can trust my activities, you can trust my validations, because I have a lot to lose if I broadcast fake transactions. So that is proof of stake. Federated Byzantine Agreement, the FBA, which Pi Network is using, basically validator nodes on the Pi Network and on blockchains like Stellar are declaring the nodes they trust. You say, I trust such and such a node, and I'm going to publish their transactions because I trust they're genuine. Okay, so talk of terms like market cap, for example, market capitalization. Everybody keeps talking about what is the market cap of Pi, what's the circulating supply, and all that. Market cap is just one of those important parameters used to value cryptocurrency, especially on exchanges. They calculate it by multiplying the circulating supply of the crypto by the price of the coin. So for Bitcoin, as an example, I think there's more than 18 million coins out there. So you just multiply that 18 million coins by its current price. If it's $50,000 today, then you have $945 billion as your market cap for Bitcoin. So for Pi Network, we don't know the maximum supply yet, but when the blockchain goes live on the mainnet, this information will be available. Okay, so at this stage, if there's some additions in terms of terminologies that we need to familiarize with, or any that you think I may have left out which you think need clarification, can ask the team to bring some out before we move on to the next section about the Pi ecosystem.
Yeah, I would want to ask you please to tell us what nodes are.
Okay, great. So the node infrastructure is, I think, the most important equipment, we can say, or the most important asset for a blockchain network, because these are literally machines or devices which are helping support the network. When you look at the banking system, you can have one big server at headquarters, and that big server validates or stores information, stores all the databases for each of the branches in the country. But when it comes to decentralized blockchains, they are having a copy of the public ledger, they're having a copy of the records. Each and every one of the nodes is having this copy of transactions, so that at any given time, even if a big percentage of the nodes are down, they fail or they are hacked or attacked, but you still have a big portion of the network which can continue to run. So nodes are basically devices which are running the software for that cryptocurrency or that blockchain, and they are helping to provide connectivity to that network. They're helping to validate transactions for that network, and most importantly, they're actually securing the network. So that's the basic definition of a node.
All right, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, Vada.
Yes, Jonathan.
Yeah, Vada, I have some questions that I want to know about. Want you to clarify me. One of the questions is this: what we are doing, are we minting or are we mining? That's number one question. This every day we enter a new section, are we actually mining or are we minting? That is my number one question. The number two question is I want to know the difference between Okay, the difference, because these words are being used in crypto space interchangeably, so at the time it gets me confused. Please, what is protocol, what is network, and what is blockchain? Is there a means of separating the three, protocol, network, blockchain, as used in the crypto space?
Okay.
The third one.
Jonathan,
Okay.
for me, it's breaking slightly. I don't know. Did you get, Jonathan? Maybe you can just repeat. I heard two questions. I heard something about interchangeably. That's the only word I heard. Maybe you can just repeat that for me.
Yeah, he said,
Yes.
First question, that are we minting or are we mining in Pi? The second question is these three words, network, blockchain, and protocol, they are sometimes used interchangeably with each other. What really are they as individual words?
Okay. So the first question was are we mining or minting Pi? Then the second question was the words blockchain and cryptocurrency are used interchangeably, right?
No,
Space.
blockchain, network, and protocol.
Network and protocol.
Yes, blockchain, network, and protocol. These three words are being used interchangeably sometimes, and we would like to know the difference between all three.
Wow, I'm not getting the last part. So you're saying what's used interchangeably? Blockchain, network, and protocol. That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, those three words.
Okay, so those three words: blockchain, network, and protocol. Okay, so let's start with. Okay, great. So starting with minting or mining of Pi. So when we're describing what mining and minting was, going by those definitions, we are actually doing both. And maybe my example for Bitcoin can help you. I'll put an example for Bitcoin. For Bitcoin, the miners are mining those coins by performing those difficult cryptographic puzzles. They are mining and proving that work. And when they succeed, they are rewarded with Bitcoin. So that is for every transaction, Bitcoin is mined and minted. So I mean, Bitcoin is really secured for every transaction going on. But when you look at the Pi network, we've been through a period of 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, going to 3 years, where we've been just declaring who our trusted parties are. I have a circle of 5 people I trust, or a circle of 3 to 5 people that I trust. So I'm adding to the network security for Pi network and saying, I trust these people and the transactions they make, and they also trust me. So I am giving that security to the Pi network. Can you reward me with my coins for declaring these people? So we've been mining by securing, and we've been minting. New coins are minted and they're given to us for that process. Now, when it comes to the transactions part, where we'll be sending coins from one person to the other, we may not necessarily be operating like the way the Bitcoin network works. So we will be able to send those coins. We have them already. We've earned them through securing the network over the last period of years, and we're ready to use them. They'll go into our wallets in the mainnet, and we'll be able to transfer them from wallet to wallet, from person to person, peer to peer. So people say, oh, when it comes to the mainnet, that's when we'll start mining, the actual mining like Bitcoin. No, it's not going to be like that, because the mining is what we have done already by having declared circles of trusted people. So that's, I hope that's a bit clear. Then when you talk about the term blockchain, we defined it. Then we talked about, now we want to talk about a network and a protocol. So a protocol is just a set of rules. It's just a set of conditions that must be met for that particular blockchain to operate and to be valid. Then a network is just, I think, an interconnected, a set of interconnected machines or devices. So a network is more physical, it has the actual components, the cables or the Wi-Fi connections, or these data points and centers that are linking the nodes. So the network is physical with all these pieces of equipment and gadgets. The protocol itself is just a set of rules for that network, for that blockchain, for that cryptocurrencies. And then the blockchain, like we said at the beginning, is a set of records which are publicly available to people, and they are like a distributed database which is transparent and open to everyone. So those three are actually different, and that's how I would define them.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you,
Kennedy,
sir. Thank you.
all right.
Yes, Fikunayo.
I actually would like to add more to. I was a bit off. My network has been giving me problems. So I want to add more to that particular question. First, to the two questions that the person asked. Firstly, the one of network protocol and blockchain. The person specifically asked that they are being used interchangeably. That are they the same thing or differently? So you'll be able to justify by at least explaining what they mean individually. I mean separately. But kind of many times, a lot of crypto service get to use them interchangeably, and that's because in a sense they actually do refer to the same thing. So, for example, the Bitcoin blockchain can be referred to as the Bitcoin protocol, and the reason why we refer to the blockchain as a protocol is because the blockchain has been written, is a set of code that has been written to do some certain things, to execute some certain things. So that's exactly why it can be used as the word protocol can be used instead of the word blockchain. And then the whole idea behind why they can use network, the Bitcoin network, of course, at times they use it to refer to the blockchain too, but basically it's because of course, how the whole distributed system, but then still very much connected all around. So that's the whole idea behind why the word network gets to come to play in between protocol and blockchain. So it's just for us to be able to define it in context to which the person is using. However, generally, kind of you can use them interchangeably. So to the question of if we are minting currently and if we are mining currently, we are minting. I want you to kind of explain some things further. Okay. I'm sorry I came a bit late into when the question was asked, but I think I got the whole idea. So basically what I want you to clarify further, you said that we are currently mining and we are currently minting. We are currently minting in the sense that we are being given a new set of pi daily, basically. It's not like okay, you're basically being given a new set of pi, so that's minting. And then mining in the sense that we contribute to the security circle of that we contribute our security circle basically, so which is one of the ways to which the network is being secured. So kind of we are mining. So now you said that when we go live, I mean when the network goes live, we are not going to be mining like in sense of Bitcoin. Of course,
I'm losing you just a bit, Fikunayo, on the last part.
Yes, I understand. But
are you able to get him, Woody?
Hello, people. Your voice is somehow please a little bit, please.
I just want to clarify because I feel personally that we are still going.
Wow, we're losing Fiku there. I'm seeing some
Can
hands.
you
Maybe
hear me
you
now? I
can.
think I'm back. I'm so
Oh,
sorry.
yeah. Okay, much better, much better now. Fiku, now I can't hear you.
I can't hear Fico also.
Okay, I'm seeing a
Same
hand
here.
from Akaban. Woody, maybe you can let Akaman
Nice.
come through. I'm seeing a hand raised there. While we wait
Okay,
for
okay, let me
Fikonayo.
use Akaman.
Kind of, we are still doing the mining, and of course,
I don't think Fico was aware that he was
if you know
upstairs
what I'm saying,
speaking because
mining is not in the sense of Bitcoin. I mean, proof of work. I mean,
Your line is
that the
disappearing.
trust graph that we have created over time,
Yes.
and even as having more carriers get coming, the trust graph that is being created serve as the basis to which all the nodes.
The line is breaking again. Is everybody able to hear Fikonayo?
Ficus network is very bad today. I don't know why.
yes, Fico is bad. Fico network is bad. Fico, you have to go and readjust it like you did the previous time, and then
Yeah.
you have to come.
Èmi kọ́ mo dá yín dúró ni. Èmi kọ́ mo pè yín ni.
Èmi fẹ́ lọ dúró síbi filling station yẹn ni tó gbé fún
Sorry, kindly mute yourself if you're not speaking, and turn off your audio voice chats. Turn off your video, please.
It needs to mute, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Fico's question.
I hope. Yeah.
Yes, Veda, can we pick up anything from Fico's question? Any parts?
I just heard the part on where he was saying for the interchangeability of these definitions, it actually depends on context. Yes, I agree with him to an extent. Many of these terms we keep interchanging. Sometimes it depends on the context, as he said. So that part I got. Now, I heard him saying something about the trust graph for Pi network. Unfortunately, that part of the question wasn't clear to me.
Okay, I also had a question regarding that that mining rewards being gotten based on our contribution to the security trust graph of Pi network.
Rewards.
Now, like you said, and as it's been said in the white paper also, that we gain mining rewards when we declare these people trustworthy to contribute to the security. Now, the first 3 days when you join Pi network, you cannot be a contributor. You don't have security circle. You do not declare anyone as part of your security circle. But you mine for the first three days and you get rewards. So how does that connect to this? How does that work?
Okay, I think in my own understanding, it's more of gauging the activity of a person, because one of the most important things about Pi network is the security provided by ordinary everyday people like you and me. So this is now my understanding. It's not financial advice. In fact, I should have given a disclaimer right at the beginning to say none of these discussions should be taken as financial advice.
Right.
Yeah, so my understanding is that as you see, every time you introduce pioneers to the Pi network, there's a point at which there's some interest, and some have no interest at all right from the beginning of the activity. You invite someone today, they will mine for 1 day because you actually helped them to mine on that 1 day. Many are the people who fall off the activity by the second day, so they just have one mining session. Now, for the Pi network, it's very important to have a group of trusted people whom we can rely on. So imagine if we were getting security circles being made by people who mine for 1 day, you build a security circle around them, and then for the next 6 months they're inactive. It means that security circle, that quorum slice as it's referred to, that group of individuals in that circle will not be useful to the network because these people have already dropped out. But someone who's mined for 2 or 3 days is probably having a bit more interest in the Pi app, in the Pi mining, and so on. So maybe they're a bit more reliable than someone who's just downloaded the app today and uninstalled it or gone inactive. So that's why that row is actually called the contributor row. Contributor in this case is contributing to the network security. I don't think you can be defined as someone contributing to the network security on the first day. because many are the millions and millions of people who've just downloaded the app on one day, and the next day they are gone for the next 2 years. I have examples in my in my earning team, and many people have such examples. Yeah, so I think that's the importance of building a contributor circle, security circle on the third day. In the third mining session, that person is more likely to continue mining for a long period of time and helping secure the network.
But my what I cannot understand here is that the pie that was earned in those first 3 days, they were earned not on the basis of contributing to the security of the network.
Yes.
So on what basis was that mining done? Because so far, in the only description we have of mining is that you earn rewards based on contribution to the security network. But there are few days where you earn rewards and you do nothing to the security. So on what basis can we call that mining also?
Okay, great. Okay, so this person, yes, I think I heard someone saying just minting. I think I would safely describe it as that as well. This person has just minted coins for coming into the Pi network, and I wouldn't say they've provided security to the network. I wouldn't say they have mined. So I think that's a very good question, Woody, and it's actually
can
true
you hear
that
me?
yes, but now it's better if you could, yes.
Yes,
Hello?
I'm so sorry. Okay, yeah, Mr. Alex wants to say something. Let him just go ahead.
Much better.
Let him go ahead.
I think from the way the Pi network is designed, since only those who are already in the network can invite other persons. When someone is invited for the first 3 days, I believe the network or the protocol means a certain amount of coin for that person for that first 3 days. So like the other person said, what that person is just doing from the first to the third day is just minting, because he's not yet contributing to the security of the network. So he's just minting coins, not mining. So mining starts after the third section, when the person is now mining as a contributor. That is when the person actually starts mining, because he contributes to the security.
What about those people that do not set up they do not set up their security circles for a long time? They do not even understand.
They are also just minting.
Okay, yeah, great. So Woody, the people who've set up security circles for a long time, they mined, but then at some point in time they stopped. So they set up security circles and they were active for a week or a month, but 2 years later they've never been active, right?
Hello, please.
I'm sorry, but I'm still not satisfied. I don't know why. Okay, you said that those people.
Hello, can I say something, Woody? Can I just chip in something?
Let's go on, Alex.
Now, if you remember, once you're invited into the Pi network, once you get to the contributors level, you automatically linked, or you're automatically connected to the person who invited you as your first security circle person. So whether you already have one person in your security circle. So based on that, I think from that period you start mining, because you already have that first person that invited you. The person is automatically in your security circle.
Automatically?
Can I
I don't think so. Security circle is set up manually. There are people that they've been mining for a long time, but they do not have the security circle badge up because they've not even added their inviter to their security circle yet. So it has not been automatic.
Okay, Woody, the last part of your question?
I have some question, please.
Just a moment, Lawa. Now, Alex, the person is not automatically added, and some people continue mining for a long time without having even one person in their security circle. If you say that they are minting while doing that and not mining, so how do you differentiate the the pi as how can we read that this is a pi that is minted and this is pi that is mined? Because remember, the white paper said that coins are pre-minted for the first 100 million people that joined the network. So when someone creates an account, I assume that coins have already been pre-minted, and what is reading at the top of the person's home screen is what is mining, because there's a figure that is reading, the reward is reading. How can we say that is and not mining?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I think the minting part begins the moment you join in. There are those levels. There's pioneer, contributor, then there's node, rewards, and so on. So you are even being rewarded for merely being a pioneer. What's a pioneer? Someone trying something out for the first time, someone trying out something new. So by virtue of you just entering the Pi network, you're rewarded for joining the network. You're minting those coins. I mean, you're just minting. I don't know about the security that you can offer. Then you're saying someone can be mining for a long period of time. They have no security circle. Maybe they don't have friends, but they've been mining and mining. I think on the configuration, I've just forgotten, I did it a long time ago. So on the third day of mining, you can choose the person, maybe the person that invited you will be the one person in your security circle. Now, the network is such that even that one person, the connection between you and that person, you trust that one person, is still providing a certain level of security to the network. It may not be as strong as for someone with a full security circle. So that's why there's that percentage, there's 0.2, that is like 20% security, 40%, and you're encouraged to increase your percentage to 60% and above, to increase your security to 60% and above. So I think it's, even a person who doesn't know many people and just has the inviter in their team is still able to provide a minimal amount of security. But what's more important is that for the whole network, these small circles of trusted individuals will build into what the network globally recognizes as people who are valid and trusted. Okay.
Can I comment, please? I have some questions, please.
Okay, I'm seeing. Was that Lawal Rahim trying to come on? Lawal.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, we can
I want
get you.
I want to ask some questions, please.
Yes, go
about
ahead. I think we can hear you.
about the security circle, brother. There are some people in my security circle that I don't even know, and I want to ask, maybe all these people that I don't know, and if I don't pass if they don't pass the KYC, rather, sorry for my English, I don't know them. Are you getting me, please?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what would happen?
Yes.
Okay, Lawal, you said if you have people in your security circle whom you don't know, they're just in your earning team and you had even added them to your security circle. So there's one rule, which is we want to provide security to the Pi network. So it is advised, very much advised, for you to add people to your security circle, only people you know and trust. For the earning teams, there's no problem. You can add strangers, add people from all over, because they're just pioneers entering the network. They can enter under any inviter, under any node. But the people the network is interested in are those in your security circle. So first of all, if those people don't verify their KYC, then you will lose out definitely, on the coins that you've been earning as a bonus by virtue of them being in your security circle. You will lose out.
Okay.
Then
Thank you.
Overall, we don't know what security or how, like, what's the integrity of your security circle if you have strangers in your, in your quorum, in your security circle. So that becomes tricky. Then there's this talk and concept which was on the Pi network chats some time back, some months ago, whereby we were told that imagine a situation one day where people in your security circle can help you recover your account. So these there'll probably be a small algorithm or a small program running, where they have certain portions of maybe your private key or something, not that they have your private key in totality, but they have some information about your private key. So if 3 to 5 people can help you access your lost account, you would want those 3 to 5 people to be trusted individuals.
Okay, thank you. Second question, please.
Clear.
Yeah, second question, please. About the lockup, right? Yeah, let's assume that I lock up 90% in my Pi, and the mining is continued. The mining is continued. What the mining that I'm mining after the lockup? Where is it going? Is it going for extra one, or is it automatically lock up? Do you get me, sir?
Okay, I can get you. I'm getting the part where you're talking about lockups. Maybe as we're going into the last half hour or so, I can tackle it as we go into the Pi ecosystem in general now. So I'll answer your question as we go forward. You said, are the lockups? Are the lockups automatic? Okay, I heard something from Suhail Hamisu. You were saying something?
Yes, good day. First of all, I want to thank you for the very much contribution you have been doing for enlightening us about the Pi network.
Thank you.
My question goes like this. Recently, the core team have made a white paper that the Pi network is not going to be in other exchanges, so that we can exchange the Pi for fiat currency or other coins. The question is, how can this be? That's one. Are there other modes accepting it in Nigeria? The second one is, if we can spend it abroad, how are the goods going to reach us here in Nigeria? Because there is a popular mall, that Pi mall also. So how can we spend our Pi there? And how is the good going to reach us here in Nigeria? That is the first part of the question.
Okay, yeah, there's actually a part of my discussion where I'll talk about that. I think we can, since both questions are related to what's happening after mainnet, let me just discuss the Pi ecosystem, then I'll start by answering your two questions as soon as I finish. If that's okay.
Sorry, before you go into the Pi ecosystem, I just wanted to point out lastly on terminologies. We just recently came across the enclosed mainnet.
Yes. And
so far, if one searches on it, you can see that there hasn't really been any documented use of the term enclosed mainnet. So it's sort of like a new terminology that has been invented by the city. If you could share any insight on the terminology enclosed mainnet, since it is new and we are just having documented use because of Pi network now.
Okay, great. So as a part of disruptive technology and where this is coming in, so it's very unique the way the core team has been developing the blockchain, having us users and pioneers latching onto this network as it was launched, and they're developing while we are securing and minting and growing the network. So when you look at the mainnet that's about to launch, you have the term being used, enclosed. I think it's a clever, innovative way to launch the network. Of course, what will be launched is a blockchain, a public blockchain, but the only thing they're telling you is that it's enclosed, which means it's there's a firewall. There's almost like a ring fence around our network. So it is limited in some applications. For example, exchanges cannot come on, so other blockchain projects cannot breach with the Pi network. So this enclosed term, like you're saying, is probably not something you can find in the literature today. maybe in days and months to come or years to come. But it's very interesting the way they've applied it. I see it as a very good way of ensuring that the ecosystem develops to the point that is needed before it is released to the public. Yeah, so there's a lot of disruption as we talk about the way Pi Network is doing things. For example, yeah, we're now, Woody, your question has led us into the discussion about the Pi ecosystem. So, for example, Pi itself is defining mining in a totally unheard of way, in a way which is, not what is traditionally defined as mining. There's no proof of work, so there's no mining. You find that in a lot of, there's someone that needs to mute their mic. So Pi is doing a lot of innovative stuff. I would say it is a disruptive technology. Why? It's a blockchain, it's a cryptocurrency, but also in the cryptocurrency and blockchain world, Pi is actually a disruptive blockchain project. The way we described disruptive technologies in the earlier part of the session, we had said these networks come with new ideas and they grow and they even displace existing definitions and traditional ways of understanding things. So Pi is actually disruptive. So talking more about the ecosystem itself, as we go into, why I had said we should discuss this is we're going into the launch of the mainnet in a few days, I'm sure, since we've all seen the core team saying we're publishing, we're broadcasting the public blockchain before the end of December. So as pioneers, as a community, what is it that we need to do to make sure that this ecosystem matures and grows so that it's to the benefit of everyone? Okay, so when you look at the white paper, Pi has a very big vision. Pi has a very big mission. The vision of building the world's most inclusive peer-to-peer marketplace. It's a very big vision. And what else they say is that this marketplace will be fueled by Pi. And Pi at that stage should be the most widely used cryptocurrency in the world. I don't know which crypto you can say is the most widely used right now. You can talk of Bitcoin, maybe it's the most widely held or the most widely stored. People are storing it and they're holding it, so that's a very big vision they have. And they have the important mission of getting to this vision by building a cryptocurrency and, smart contracts platform, which is being secured by you and me, the usual everyday people, as we're referred to. So it's a mobile first cryptocurrency. I'm not saying it's the first mobile cryptocurrency. People always talk about Electronium and all that. But the way I see it in this definition, a mobile first crypto simply means before you go to computers and nodes and everything, when you enter the Pi network as a pioneer, it is on a mobile device. It's mobile first, everything else comes later. So it's mined easily, it's on your phone every day, and it's a very innovative project. Okay, so look at the way it's been growing through word of mouth. It's not through an ICO, an initial coin offering where people say, I have bought some coins at a cheap price. When it launches on the exchange, I'll sell them and so on. But it's just been word of mouth, people mining daily, creating their coins. And people now say it's a multi-level marketing scheme. Some even say scam, but we know it's not an MLM because it's just you and your earning team members benefiting from a bonus. It's at one level and not on many levels. So when you look at the revolutionary mining technology that Pi is using, it's not as heavy as Bitcoin. It's not as heavy as Bitcoin is, because during development, we've been mining simply by the actual mining taking place in the servers at the core team's headquarters. And what we see on the app is just a record which tallies with what's on the server. It synchronizes every 24 hours. When your mining session ends, it gets the accurate data from the servers at Pi Network. So you're mining on your phone and you're providing security very accurately. Okay. Then also think of the innovative way in which the Pi network will eventually develop. Once we get to the mainnet, we will be able to get a market cap, maybe which is not in the usual traditional way of defining a market cap. You don't just multiply the coin supply by its price, but you have a value that has been built intrinsically in the Pi network with time through those utilities and those marketplaces that we're having. So now that we've been through 2 phases already, we're about to move on to the phase 3, the mainnet itself. We are opening in 2 stages. There's the open network, there's the closed network, then there's the open network. So people are saying, some people saying the enclosed network is a fake blockchain, but it's not fake. It's as real as the blockchain that will be on the open network. The only difference is that it is restricted to the core team nodes. Not all the nodes that are currently on the network will be able to run the Pi blockchain at the beginning. It's firewalled, it's excluding cryptocurrency exchanges, it's excluding other crypto projects, and it's excluding, other connections that may be unwanted. So any connection that would come into the Pi network would have to be authorized by the city. So people say, yes, it looks like it's centralized and whatever, but the truth of the matter is it is decentralized. It's on a number of nodes that the city owns, the core team, but once the open network is open, then we'll see the fully decentralized Pi network. So there are all these things to do with the lockups, which we've been preparing for. You have some Pi that you stash away, you lock it away for a certain period of time. So I can answer the question about, was it from Sahel who said, are the lockups automatic and can they be changed? That's what I heard. So in the way that it's been explained, you will be able to lock up your Pi, which you've done, from your current available transferable balance. The percentage that you have set is what will go into a lockup wallet. Then the other percentage you'll be able to use. Now, every single day, the moment someone... Okay, Harry, I can see a hand there. I'll come to you just now. Let me just finish. So every single day that you have a new transferable balance, you will be able to set a new configuration for how much you want to lock up. You can lock it up at 0. It becomes, you use it and you don't lock up any part of it. Okay, then you can lock it up for a longer or shorter period because it's a new balance which has become transferable simply because someone has verified their account today, so you have more Pi. Even as you're mining, every day you're mining, you'll be having amounts of Pi that are transferable, so you can set up different configurations. Okay, then there was the question about the core team restricting exchanges, and then the other part you said, yeah. So the reason the exchanges have been restricted, I think, is very key. Imagine if the blockchain launched today and everyone just rushes to an exchange. You would see a very dramatic fall or crash in the crypto because many other people who wouldn't even participate in the ecosystem. But one other thing is KYC has not yet been done for everybody. Very few people are KYC'd. So that's why they keep saying in the period that we're doing KYC for most of the network, let there be a mainnet launch, let people be able to use Pi on the blockchain, and the only restriction is that they should not, sell it for cash and stuff like that. They don't want a situation where an entire exchange comes and dilutes the value of your crypto. So those are some of the safeguards which have been put there. Then we can talk about coin burning or the fake Pi that has been mined in the past. When the blockchain is launched, only valid Pi will be transferred to the blockchain. So anything that is fake cannot be validated by real accounts or genuine pioneers and miners. It won't even transmit or transfer to the blockchain. So that is the coin burn there. Only valid Pi will be coming onto the blockchain, whether it's on a weekly or monthly basis, depending on the time periods that the core team sets in. Okay, so now when we talk about utilities now as a very important part of the ecosystem, We may have marketplaces which are already ready. As you see, there are some malls and online shops. People have been testing these transactions on the test network, and probably they'll be available as the mainnet launches. So there are opportunities for freelance work. We've seen some travel apps coming up. People develop some gaming apps during the hackathon. So these are the possible utilities that would be able to use to derive the real value of Pi. So it will be more of making real value instead of just speculating. If you were to sell it on an exchange today, what value would you sell it at, and to whom, and for what? What would that person be buying your coins for? So, but these utilities will help Pi have real value that can be sustainable and useful in the long term. So we can also talk about possible challenges that might arise in the immediate future, in the very, very near future. I've seen this topic on the LearnPi official chat, where there's the issue of shipping and logistical challenges. How can someone sell a product from Japan, Australia, or Brazil, or Congo, Nigeria, and how then will a person in the UK receive it? Okay, so also issues of things like restocking. This is a very big issue. If I have my shop selling electronic goods like TVs and cameras, I buy those coins from suppliers abroad and I pay fiat, I pay in dollars across borders. Then those things come and I'm selling them with Pi in my local community. How will I be able to restock those goods if those markets are not yet accepting Pi? So I think on this one, it's more of a gradual growth. It's all about the adoption mechanisms for Pi. When will people adopt Pi on a broader basis? When will big business houses come in and accept Pi, so that you don't have to, have the headache of buying in fiat and then getting stranded because you sold all your TVs and cameras for Pi. Now you have no dollars to buy them from your supplier in China or in Taiwan and so on. So on the part of shipping and logistics, I was thinking that I'll try to just give some insights on this one. Wouldn't you agree that this is very similar to the way we have the ability to buy from these established platforms like AliExpress, Alibaba, eBay, Amazon, and so on? I think there's some trust profiles where you see this person has a lot of positive reviews, they deliver on time, their goods are as described, and they do actually mail your package to you. So probably on the shipping part, how would these people send these things to us? How would they reach us? I would say, I'm sure the apps that are coming up, I've seen one of them, and they seem to have features where the geographic locations of the people buying and selling are at least known. So I'm seeing a situation where we'll be able to have a similar trust profile for buyers and sellers. Yeah, so with that brief talk on utilities and the Pi ecosystem, maybe I can open up the floor so that we discuss these issues in general. Okay, I'm seeing a hand from Harry. I don't know. Okay, you should be able to communicate now.
Good evening. I'm Harry from Ghana.
Okay, Harry.
The question that I have is, yes, please.
Yes.
The question that I have has to do with our consensus.
Yes.
Now that we're going to have an enclosed like trading, let's put it that way. So can we, those having the Pi and then those who are going to sell their goods, come together to have a particular price on
yes,
Pi?
Those who are selling and those who are offering Pi.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Because
How do we come
as
to
of now,
consensus?
there's no exchanger that's going to determine the price or something of that sort for us. So as we are going to determine the price, so when we come together, like there was a time that this consensus thing was going out. Some were saying that 300, some 100, some 1,000, and all those stuffs. So I think that if we are able to come together to agree on a price, so that when we use it and the exchanges are even coming, I think they will also offer something better than ours, so that we can move forward as pioneers.
Okay. Yeah, so on the part of coming together, thanks Harry for that. I don't know if you would have anything like an online Zoom meeting with buyers and sellers sitting down to agree on a price. I think it would be more of you go into an online utility and you see a product listed there. And of course, the person selling the product wants to make as much pie as possible from that product, right? And you as a buyer, and you as a buyer probably want to spend as little of your pie as you possibly can. So maybe in the initial stages, it will be more of more like a discussion between the two of you. You'll be exchanging messages, or you'll be on Telegram or communicating, or in the pie apps, maybe there's a pie chart option for buyers and sellers. You never know. But I'll give an example, yes, of the way the IAT started, the in-app transfers program started. People basically were just listing products which they would say, I'm selling a cell phone and it's going to go for 20 pi. Then people will be, they will decide on whether or not to buy it. Yeah. So at the beginning, it will depend on how much pi do you want to spend on something. And will the person that is selling that thing say, yes, I can release my cell phone or my laptop for 2 pi or 0.2 pi? Yeah. So it will be, I think the consensus will be building gradually. I don't think it will be a one-day thing where we just sit as a network and say the coin is costing $1,000 or its pi is worth $100 or $0.1 or something like that. We'll see how it rolls out. Yeah.
Okay. Then thank you very much.
You're welcome. Yeah. Okay. Woody, did Fikunayo come back? I can't see him in the chat. Okay, El Frenzy, I see you're speaking. El Frenzy, you have a question?
Come back. Hello, good evening.
Yes, El Frenzy, good evening.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, clearly enough, yes.
Okay, so hello. Okay, based on the lockup mechanism, I linked we'll be having rewards while locking up our pipe on mainnet, right?
Yes.
So does that mean we won't be receiving rewards from our ET any team any longer? So that means there won't be any need for adding more people. And we just see the need for adding people on mainnet.
Oh yeah. Thanks for that question. I think we even had a discussion with Woody the other day in the LearnPi chat. So
yes.
Maybe I'll let Woody give his insights on it.
I'm not so sure I remember what's about. I would be more eager to listen to what you have to say now, actually.
Yeah, I think on the mining rate, there's a huge percentage boost depending on how much you've locked up and how much you've put away. So there's a boost there, and it's saying the boost is applying to your base rate for mining. So some think that is just a base rate. It is just a flat rate, which will not even multiply with the way your earning team is composed, the way the mining is right now. But people like me say, well, maybe to be applying to the earning team and so on. But I think we're yet to see how it will exactly play out the day that the mainnet launches. We'll see how the new mining formula is being applied. So I'll leave it as an open-ended question for now until I see how it's going to be implemented by the core.
Guys, can I just
Kikunayo, I can hear you. Oh yeah, Meldin.
Okay, yeah.
Good to see you online.
Meldin, go ahead.
Welcome.
Meldin, go ahead.
Who are you guys?
Go ahead.
Hi, good evening.
I want just to answer the question about the earning team and the security cycle. A mega mode yesterday confirmed me that the earning team and security cycle will stay during the mainnet. We will receive rewards. We will receive rewards on the earning team and then security cycles as well during the mainnet.
Oh my
Thanks
God!
for
Yes!
that clarification. It sounds like people are very excited about Meldin's clarification. So thanks a lot, Meldin. And I think we were leaning towards that because definitely growth of the network and security has to continue even after mainnet. So I would agree with that mega mode that this new mining formula will still encompass the composition of the earning team and the security circle.
That was the God of Thunder, the most popular mega mode, confirmed to me yesterday that question. I really had also this question, and the new clue is just that the new base mining rate will depend on a yearly supply cap of pi. And so the actual next new base mining rate might be only really low, depending on the number of users.
Yes. Yeah.
Current one is the current one is 0.1, I would say, pi per hour. The next one could be less lower than the current one.
Well, I don't know. Are you on the part of, okay, that's away from the halving, right? The halving that could happen at mainnet.
I don't know if we will have any halvings. The point is that we will have a yearly supply cap of pi, and the base mining rate will depend on that supply cap. That's the clue. With config mainnet.
Okay, the last part was breaking for me. Was anybody able to hear Meldin's contribution?
Actually, what I got from it, it says that the new mining rates will be based on the yearly supply cap. So I don't know if that is insinuating that the new mining rate will not be based on a halving, meaning divided by 2. Maybe less than a 50% decrease. I would like to even get a clarification on that. It will be less than 50% halving.
The new base mining rate will depend on the yearly supply cap. So most likely we will no more need any halvings. Just the more users are in Pi network, the less the base mining rate will be, and your whole mining rate will decrease with the base mining rate.
Okay. Great. Thanks for that, Meldin. Okay. Yeah. So as we come to the top of the hour, are you there now? You can probably lead us into closing. Or Woody. Unless there are a few questions maybe that we haven't yet answered.
Fadi, please introduce you to us because we don't.
Yes,
I
can
I
you hear
don't
me?
I joined the sorry I joined the conversation and we don't know
Okay.
Fadi. Rather, maybe Fadi should please introduce yourself to us, please. And where are you from? Thanks.
Is that Lawal? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Lawal, you're asking who am I and where am I from?
Yeah, and maybe you
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just a pioneer on the chat.
Lawal, we are actually
Yeah, I'm Kennedy.
gradually coming to an end. Lawal,
Yeah.
if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you clearly now.
Kennedy, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can get you. Yes.
Woody, Kennedy, can any of you hear me, please?
You can be heard.
Yes, if you can continue, we can hear you.
Hello.
Okay. Hi, Abu Mahir.
Yes, here am I.
Did you have a question just as we're closing up? Yes.
A serious question, and I think maybe I don't know, but maybe let me. I went to chat room just this morning. Chat room does inside the app. I went to announcement channel. I go back around 20 July. There is an announcement that Dr. Nicholas that did by that time. He's saying that mining at the rate at higher rate might halve or fall to zero at mainnet.
Yes.
So there is a kind of confusion there that maybe so are they going to halve it at mainnet or are they going to fall the mining to zero? Maybe probably they'll stop mining. I don't know. So that's why I'm asking. And
no, that's a great question.
Yes, and still there is a kind of a preview for the lock off that if you lock off your file for 2 weeks, 6 month, 1 year or 3 years, that you keep mining based on the duration you lock it. So what if you didn't lock it off and decided just to leave it, and maybe by mainnet they stop mining? So are we going?
Okay.
How can things go? I don't know. So that's why I need a kind of.
Okay. No, that's a great question. So on that, I'll start with the second question. So if mining were to stop at mainnet, the source of Pi, yes, will not be only from mining alone. It will also be from other utilities, like utilizing the Pi apps and so on. So the more you utilize those apps, the more you get rewarded for such activity. So I wouldn't be too worried about how the rewards will come to you, but I think for them to put such a feature there, if it's 3 years, if it's like 6 months, 1 year, whatever, I'm very sure there should be a mechanism for that formula to still apply and for it to be fulfilled. It would be very strange that you're promised high mining rewards and then they just stop mining. And yeah, that would be quite strange. But I'm sure, I personally, I think mining may continue at the halved rate at mainnet. That's just my guess. It's not official or anything, but that's what I think. Then you also, your first question was to do with just remind me, what was the first question?
The first question, I think you have also answered all. But my point is,
about it
if
dropping to zero and
about
so
the
on. Yeah.
halving and dropping to zero at mainnet. So they just drop a kind of message there, like if you take it like maybe at mainnet they fall it to zero, so it means that if you didn't lock off, you are not going to mine.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, so I would say like there are still, the time there was the halving at 10 million pioneers, for example, there was a decision to be made. Do we continue mining or do we stop mining? And exactly. So pioneers actually had some input into that decision making, and reasons were given as to why mining should continue, so that the network continues to grow, so that you have a bigger population of people and not just worry about the supply of the coin. Yeah, so perhaps, even when they announce the mainnet launch, they'll definitely discuss, is there a halving coming? Is there another halving at maybe 100 million pioneers? Yeah. So we can just look forward to that. I'm sure it will be in a few days from now. Definitely before the end of 2021. Yeah.
We are hoping.
Thanks a lot, Abu Mahir.
Thank you.
Okay, can I answer the question too? Because I asked the same question I asked Mahmoud together. The point is, the lockup is voluntarily done, so it does. You don't have to lock up anything. So it's only an addition to your base mining rate. So you will continue to get rewards, boosted rewards, so long as the mining continues on. If you don't lock up any of your Pi, you will still be mining, but on a less rate than others. Actually, don't have anything to lock up. You don't need to lock up anything.
So you're saying if you lock up, and if you don't lock up any of your coins, do you need what?
If I got a question of Abu Mahir correctly,
Abu Mahir, yeah.
He was asking, does he have to lock up any of his pies?
Wow,
he doesn't have to do it.
Your line is breaking a bit for me, Melvin. I don't know what the problem is. Is there anyone that's able to hear Melvin clearly and just repeat that for me?
Yes, I think I heard him. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly.
All right. I think he was trying to say that if Abu Mahir did not lock up, because his question was if he did not lock up and that mining stops or mining gets to zero, that means those who did not lock up have something to lose, kind of, right? So Melvin was telling us that even if Abu Mahir did not lock up, that he can still mine because mining will not stop immediately, but he's mining at a reduced rate. So only those who locked up will have an additional boost to their mining rate, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, great! Thanks a lot, Milton. That's a very nice perspective in which to look at it. So we are being incentivized actually to lock up, add value, build value in this network, and invest our long-time commitment in terms of where we see Pi going in the next 6 months, 12 months, or 36 months. So yeah, that's a great contribution, that there's actually an incentive in locking up, and that those who lock up will definitely get rewarded, whilst those who do not lock up would go on to now a reduced mining rate. Interesting. Yeah, so thanks a lot, everybody. Woody or Fiku to close up.
Please, before Fiku or Woody will close, I think there's something I read, I saw it on in their group, and I also saw it on IG. So I think Pi Network Nigeria calling on everybody tomorrow so that we can also have kind of discussion. But I guess all the people that are actually preparing for a marketplace for Pi Network, Pi More, that those that are creating marketplace utilities. I guess someone said that maybe we can come together and talk on consensus. Maybe the person, I'm also here to remind the person that he can come tomorrow he can join the network tomorrow, the group tomorrow. Maybe this may be the issue that I'm going to discuss tomorrow. I don't know, but I saw it and I want to share it here. I'm also going to be there so that we know those that are creating the marketplace for us, what they have for us. We can ask them questions and then we can dissect each other. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure being here.
That's great. The pleasure is all ours. Okay, I'm seeing a question from Privyet Sam. Just as we wind up. Olawal again. Let me see. Okay. Woody and Fikunayo, the moderators, are you there?
Woody is here, but I don't know if Fikunayo.
Yes, I'm back now.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Okay,
Vida.
great, Woody.
And everyone for your contribution. Thank you also, Meldin. Thank you, Lawal. Thank you, Kindness. Thank you, everyone that has contributed, and Frenzy and all. I also learned a lot of things myself today. And we also thank Veda Sith for all the knowledge that he has shared upon us today. We are very grateful, and we hope that we continue to share more insights as Pi Network unveils more to us. And that's it from us tonight. Let's catch up again next weekend on Let's Talk Pi and see what we have to discuss about. Thank you also so much.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Woody, and thanks everyone for tuning in.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye, everybody.
Take care, everyone. Good night.